Aladdin's treasure chest. If a library is the hub of the school, the librarian is the nut that holds the hub together, is a wry joke among librarians. Once a student asked me, "What is the most important thing you learned in order to become a librarian?" When I was 2 years old, I learned how to count to 100 and say my ABCs in order, I replied. The student thought I was trying to be funny, but in a library, everything is put in alphabetical or numeric order. The question started me thinking about the qualifications of a good librarian. A librarian has to love books, like people, be interested in every subject, be picky enough to want the books cataloged correctly, but flexible enough not to kill if some patron gets a book out of place. Above all, he or she must get great joy from helping each person find any material they're looking for. I learned the joy of reading as well as the skill of reading, sitting on my mother's lap day after day as she read aloud to me for me and my father. The Bible, the sentimental novels of Gene Stratton Porter, the westerns of Zane Grey, were the ones I remembered. Libraries were non-existent in the world of a tenant farmer in the 1930s, but Mother borrowed books from neighbors who had very few, and would occasionally take pity on a magazine salesman and trade a couple of chickens for a magazine subscription. All reading material was read over and over and was precious. For about 5 years when I was in the middle grades, we lived on a farm where the landlord's wife was educated and had subscriptions to many magazines. Periodically, Mr. Trigg would bring a box of discarded magazines to our house. Christmas could not have been a happier occasion for me than the delving into the Liberty, Saturday Evening Post, Collier's, Ladies' Home Journal, and Country Gentleman. We also took a magazine called Comfort, which was published in Augusta, Maine, by the Gannett Company. The year I was in 3rd grade, there was a classroom library in the corner of our room. I wanted to read those books so badly that I read instead of doing my classwork. My mother, who had precious little money, paid me a dime for every day I didn't read a library book. When I taught in the Little Wilson School in the 1940s, I found out about a traveling library out of Frankfurt. Any teacher could borrow, free, for her school for a period of time, 100 books of various reading levels. I ordered them, and one of the patrons brought the stout, brown wooden box from Caneyville, the nearest railroad station. The children gathered around as I unlocked the padlock, removed it from the hasp, and opened the doors which unveiled the bookcase. The children were as ecstatic as I had been when Mr. Trigg brought the magazines. Aladdin's treasure chest would not have been more awesome. Some of the children read all of the books. All of the children read some of the books, and some of the books I read to them. Absolutely nobody was a non-reader, and nobody admitted not liking reading. I know I did not have them do book reports or make anybody read for pleasure. The books were there like ice cream for dessert. Nobody lost or damaged a book, which is amazing to me after 30 plus years as a librarian. I believe TV has ruined many children's chances to become good readers because now it is so easy to be entertained by electronic media. Many children do not take time to read for pleasure if parents do not have time to cuddle them and read to them when they are very young. Now my job has become that of media specialist, and I have to ride herd over film strips, video cassettes, movies, slides, tapes, and various apparatus that they are shown on and with. But my first love is books. There is no greater joy for a librarian than being able to introduce the right person to the perfect book. "Mrs. Rice, that is the best book I have ever read," is music to my ears, and the most rewarding part of my payment for teaching. I like to be the nut that holds the hub together.